Hello, and welcome to our what was supposed to be a live Facebook stream of the Pass Profile launch. But since our software product is relatively new, we still have a few more days before we can activate the business page. However, we are going to bring you some information today, and we can answer all of your comments and questions in the comment fields once we post this pre-recorded video. My name is Genevieve Gunderson. I am the managing partner and CMO of Pass Profile, and here with us today is founder and developer and CEO, Ted Chamberlain. Ted, would you like to tell us what we're going to be walking through today?
Hi, I am Ted Chamberlain, and what we're going to do today is take a look at what the past profile is, how it was conceived, and then how it can really help people in their professional speaking or work that they do in their professional work, just as they communicate with people.
Wonderful. So let's kind of dive in. Tell me about the inception of Past Profile.
Well, I'm a voice teacher, and as I was building my business recently, back in November, I decided I was going to start working with speakers quite a bit more, and I wanted an assessment tool to help me understand where their strengths lie as speakers, as a starting point. As a teacher I had been a teacher for many years, and I thought, well, this is a great thing to do, is to be able to do this wonderful assessment. But there was nothing out there that I could use that would give me the information that I wanted. One of my beliefs is that we all can be great in an area of strengths, but not in an area of weakness. So it's kind of a strengths-based model to take a look at what are a person's natural inherent strengths or authentic strengths as a communicator, as how they speak and communicate with other people, especially in a professional environment. So as I was looking at this and didn't find anything myself, I started to develop my own. And from that came what we call now the PASS profile, PASS standing for personal authentic speaking style. And it helps to identify that. So over the following months, I found it very useful in my own practice to help understand what other speakers were able to do and communicate. And it started building some real confidence in people in a very quick way because they felt comfortable with who they are and they understood some of the characteristics of the way that they communicate. So I continued to develop it, and then I got together with an automation team so that it could be out into the world where many more people could benefit from it. And then I partnered with Genevieve to kind of help with developing the business and getting it to the point where we can now send it out into the world. And so we're here today on launch day to take a look at this valuable product.
Right. And so for those who are inquiring, we do have a promotional discount. It's in the links below, and also our website, which is www.pass-profile.com. And if you click on Get Your Invitation, you'll get the promo code link. You'll be able to take the assessment, and you'll also be able to find a little bit more detail out about how this works. Ted, tell me about some of the benefits that some of your clients have seen so far using this product.
I think one of the things that's really good to know about this is it gives all kinds of information. So once a person has taken the questionnaire and they get their past profile back, it's about 15 to 20 pages of really in-depth understanding of how they communicate and speak in their professional contexts. Once they have that and they can kind of look through it, what it does is a couple of things. First, it affirms who they are. They see themselves reflected back in this profile that says these are the things that you're really good at, and these are the ways that you communicate, and these are ways you can leverage those talents and those inherent characteristics in what you do. So it builds people's confidence, and when they have that confidence and they start to lose, a lot of people are really scared of things like public speaking, and so this helps to kind of break down those fears because they start being comfortable with who they are. They no longer have to feel like they have to fit into this cookie cutter way of speaking, but to be authentic, because that's when people will know them and understand them and want to get to know them more and build that rapport with them. So they find that they become more effective in their communication with clients and with coworkers because they're more comfortable in their own skin and understanding how to use their strengths.
And I really appreciate that. And what I found several months ago when you kicked this off and asked me to partner with you, I took the assessment. I actually took it twice, and both times I got the same results, and they were absolutely spot on. I'm an is it empathetic storyteller? And that means
Empathic,
I
maybe?
what's that?
Was it
Empathic.
empathic? Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So I gesticulate, I do finger pistols, I do all the awkward things, but I also tell stories to relate. And in my professional background, I was in corporate tech, e-com for years. And anytime I had to present, I felt like I had to create a persona of this very polished professional. And I felt like I had imposter syndrome. Whereas I'd always known all along that the way I connect best with people is just by speaking from my heart and being as dorky and awkward as I am. So when I took pass and got those results and read through so many amazing things, from identifiers to potential career paths to other speakers that were kind of relatable to me, areas for opportunity, I actually felt that affirmation. And from that point, anytime I had to do a public speaking engagement, I was like, I'm just going to own this. And it resonates. And I found it so valuable because it had absolutely given me confidence to speak more freely and more authentically. And so I am absolutely advocating for this. It's a one of a kind tool, almost like a personality quiz for your voice. There's nothing else like it. And I'd like to know also from your perspective, some of the testimonials that you've been receiving, to kind of hear what others have been having to say that are from different archetypes, if you will.
I don't have those up handy,
Oh,
so
no.
if you have a chance to kind of pull them up and we can read some off. But they are really powerful. They can be found on our website now too, at pass-profile.com, and you'll be able to look through those testimonials. But they are, one after another of people who just had a transformative experience by going through this process and understanding more about their speaking style. One of the things I think might be helpful to talk to our viewers about is, how does it work? How do you get into, and actually do the profile? How do I sign up? So you want to tell them a little bit about the sign up process?
Absolutely. So if you go to www.pash- or hyphen profile.com, you'll be prompted with a get my invitation link. Currently, there's a banner at the top that has the promotional discount that's going to last until July 25th. It's $25 off, which is about a 33.33%. Retail value is $75 for the pass profile itself. It'll take you a couple minutes to finish. It's about 72 questions. But once you submit that, put in your code, put in your payment, after you've reviewed all the data and all the information and feel really great about it, because you will, once you actually take it, within minutes, you should receive your multi-paged report back. It's about 15 to 20 pages, and you're free to do with it whatever you want. You're also free to take that information and leverage it by potentially talking to Mr. Ted about future speaking programs that we are planning down the road, to enable folks to really hone in on those inherent talents that they'd found from the past profile. Ted, do you want to
Great.
talk to that a little bit more? I know we're still
So
kind
I
of
would
in the
maybe
early
not
phases
quite,
of that.
yeah, maybe not quite yet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to talk them through the kinds of things that are given in the pass profile, and make
Okay.
one clarification that it's $75 as the normal price, and so the $25 is off of that. So the current price for anybody jumping in during our promotional period is $50 if they use that
$50.
promotion. Yeah. So let's talk through what is actually included. What do you get back? It comes in an email to you attached as a PDF, and the PDF is it starts with a cover page. It gives some basic information about, the copyright and all that kind of information. The second page begins with some guidelines. We highly recommend that you take the time to read through those guidelines because they help you to understand how best to leverage all that information. Then, with the first section of the profile itself, it goes through your various scorings within what we call the 35 archetype speaking styles. So, to give some background on that, the whole questionnaire was developed from 35, and I call them archetype speaking styles that are a wide variety of the way people communicate. And so that's kind of like the foundation of where the questions came from to really ferret out those really specific detailed information points that you filled out on the questionnaire. So the first section gives how you ranked on those 35 speaking styles. And it's kind of useful to look at those and say, look at the top ones and say, well, I have a lot of characteristics that are going to align with that kind of speaking style, and go to the bottom of the list and see, well, there's several styles there that probably are not where my strengths are. So it's just kind of a useful little piece of information. But the real power is not in those 35. That's just where it started. When your information, 351 complete data points from the questionnaire, are analyzed in detail about your specific responses, what happens is all that information is kind of worked through and outspins your specific to you, only your answers, built just with your authentic speaking style report. And that's what this next section becomes. The next section is your actual past profile. And your past profile will have its own name. Genevieve's was empathetic uh, storyteller, right? And mine was like visionary. I can't even remember off the top of my head now. And it goes through then all these little pieces of different ways that you can leverage and understand who you are as a speaker. So that section is really robust and has lots of great information. Then it goes into the next information, which a lot of people find fascinating and really cool. It gives you 15 career paths that could potentially work really well for a person with your speaking style. That isn't to say that there aren't other ones that would work well, or that if it's not on that list, it's no good for you or anything like that. It's simply that these are some areas where you would see your speaking style would dovetail really easily into these kinds of careers. And so it gives you some of that information for 15 different careers. So that's kind of cool. The next little section, it tells of a person who is somewhat famous or maybe very famous, who has a lot of similar characteristics to your speaking style. And there's somebody who's well known for speaking. And so this is to show that there is no negative speaking style. We all have strengths, and it's all about using those strengths when we communicate. It's not about being one particular way, or one particular way is good and another one is bad. It's not that at all. Everybody has these great characteristics, and even these wonderful, amazing speakers have characteristics just like yours, and you'll be able to see some of those connections and why that parallel has been made. And the next section, the final section, is kind of a developmental roadmap, if you will. It guides you through, these are ways you can take your natural strengths and develop them further, or maybe look at some of the areas that might add some robustness to your speaking style and make it even stronger. And so that's in the developmental path, which then leads toward the idea that if you wanted to pursue more, there are some other things that can happen. So obviously you can just take it and run with it, and take that information and do with it as you will, and let it be a transformative thing for you. There are other options. I have an add-on that I still do personally, so you'd have to write to me and I can give you the add-on. It's called a voice brand alignment. And eventually this will also be automated and part of the offerings from our website. But what happens with that one is it takes your past profile, so you will have had to have completed that, and then it gives you another questionnaire that identifies things, that asks you specific things about what you do in your daily work life. And then it takes those two and marries them together. So it shows you directly how to use your speaking style in the work that you do. So that's a really powerful addition. Furthermore, we're going to be doing webinars, and a webinar might be like several people can sign in, and we'll just kind of talk through and guide certain aspects of the past profile, and give you some specific feedback in front of another, other people in kind of group setting that way. And we'll be doing some workshops where I partner with business, or maybe just do a workshop where people can come in from various places, and we'll go through a whole process kind of together, kind of holding your hand all the way along and giving you lots of feedback and help and understanding of how you can personally benefit from the information that's provided with the profile, and possibly even the voice brand alignment in that case. We have some other exciting things in the works, but we're not ready to talk about those yet. So we'll just say for now, those are the kinds of things that are really happening. Oh, there are also written resources that are available too.
Yes, and I think that what is such a value add with this particular tool is its applications personally and professionally. In my case, I took it for my own personal development, but it has so many applications. So, Ted, if you want to talk through some of the areas that you feel this is so valuable in, and I can dovetail on that. But if you have your top three, top five, I'd love to hear them.
That's excellent. One of the things that I found really fascinating by this as I was going through the process of development and then looking at where this really could benefit, I couldn't find a place where it doesn't benefit, because
Yes.
everybody uses their voice, and it's a powerful tool. It's an absolute reflection of who we are, and it's a projection of who we are. So getting comfortable with that whole process is absolutely fundamental to being a human being. And then when we add that into our communications with our in our professional work, it builds this credibility and authenticity. So that being said, some of the areas that seem like obvious dovetails for me would be things like business coaches. Sure. Other vocal coaches like me, because I built it as a tool to help me understand where my speakers were and develop them there. So of course there. But what about like just corporate America, and having your workforce work with the past profile to not only understand ourselves but understand each other, to really make the communication in our professional lives at our workplace much more powerful. Or what about politicians, where politicians have the responsibility of communicating with constituents, obviously lots of public speaking. They have things that they're presenting to the House, for example, that they want to make sure that they're very persuasive, and they want to use their best speaking style elements in there. And interviews on the radio and television, all those kinds of things fall into there. The medical profession, where doctors and medical professionals are talking with their clients and interacting with each other, becoming more effective in their communication that way. We could talk about teachers and the way that they interact with their classrooms and their colleagues, or preachers, of course, that speak for a living, or public speakers of any kind. Those are all part of it as well. Entrepreneurs, because they're all interfacing and networking with other people. So those whole relationships become, so you see what I mean? It's like any area you think of, communication is key. And this becomes a foundational piece that you can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely. And to kind of couple in on what you were talking about with corporate development within the HR space and leadership development programs, oftentimes we get groups of people who are brilliant at what they do as individual contributors, or those who had just been promoted up to management roles. And sometimes when you know the business or you know the bones so well, you don't really know how to communicate that because you've maybe been working in a very siloed situation. So this is a tool that can help develop those that are on that track for trajectory. I also see it being a very useful tool for college students, high school students
Yes.
who are still kind of trying to find their identity and what they want to be when they grow up. But by taking this, they get sort of a sense of direction, at least one part that says, well, this is how you sound, this is how you convey yourself, this is how you might be perceived. This might be a career path that would actually be really in line with what you want to do. So I think that those are some other areas of assistance as well that the past profile can provide.
I think that's exactly right. Trade schools and any place that does career placement, this is a really valuable set of insights to help people to kind of navigate that whole world. So I think that that's definitely one we want to play into and allow people to kind of see where that can take them.
Absolutely. So before we talk about upcoming events, is there anything else you want to throw out there about the past profile?
I just want to make sure that people understand that we are here to kind of help continue develop this whole concept. We're excited about things that are coming onto our purview, but really we're anxious and excited about getting this out into the world so people can use it and benefit from it. And we want to hear your stories. So as you start interfacing with it and gain insights, some of those may not come immediately. Some of them, it's been interesting watching people and as they've kind of worked with it for a while, weeks or maybe even months, how much that's transformed them over time, and they realize it even later how much value that has had for them and how much direction it had. So looking for your feedback will be something that we are absolutely committed to continuing. We want to do more ways of building community to give people a chance to interface with each other, and kind of grow from, like, one of the things we were talking about actually earlier this morning is developing a way to help people understand how to not only understand their own, but to work with people with different speaking styles and how to really maximize their communication on both sides.
Yeah, their workspace dynamic. Everyone has different working styles, different ways of communicating. Something might be perceived off. There are a few other personality tests, Colby scores, et cetera, that help kind of align people in these respects. But I feel like once we have a chance to really further develop this, there are so many opportunities for PASS to just be an absolutely amazing asset, really, for anyone.
Yeah, so if you have questions, please put them in the I guess this is going up on Facebook, is that correct?
Yeah, we'll go up on Facebook and we'll
And
also
other
post it to
other social
YouTube.
media. So you
Yeah, so
should be
you
able to
want to,
comment on it, send us
yeah,
questions, and you can of course email me or text me questions that way too, and we'll get back to you as quick as we can.
yeah, and we're super transparent, very accessible. So go straight to the website or our Facebook. You'll get either one of us. And if we have any issues, we work with our automation team.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're on YouTube, click the like button, smash that, hit the subscribe to see more of our content coming up. And then just stay tuned on our Facebook page. As a matter of fact, if you sign up as a like or a follower, there's an immediate discount code for 10%. So that's ongoing. After the launch with the $25 discount, that's ongoing. So by showing us your love, we're going to show you some back because we really want to advocate for this. It's so beneficial.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I look forward to kind of seeing where this goes with everyone, and please keep communicating with me as you go through this process because I love hearing the wonderful testimonials and success stories that come from it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ted. I love your candor. I can't wait. We've got another ribbon cutting event coming up. We have an actual live event coming up, and then we have a big conference in Hawaii in November that we're going to be at a booth at. So that'll be fun. We'll put Ted in some coconuts and a hula skirt and see what happens. But thank you
Yeah,
so
see what
much for
happens.
listening to this, and have fun taking that past profile.
Take care.
Bye.